Just a second. Why is it not linking? There's one. Go live. Add a title. Don't care. There's one. We got one.
There's one.
All right, we're live on the one page. Why it's not doing it on the other page?
But what about the other page? Are we
I'm
live
working
on
on
that
it.
page?
I'm working on it, man. Look, new
I mean, God, you work
programming.
so slow. Jesus.
It's just new programming, you know. All right, let's do this. We're gonna copy this link real quick because I think.
Like, I never thought you would pull a Walsh while you were doing your podcast.
Hey now.
Over here.
I go here.
Jeez.
All right, those of you that are watching, if you are watching already, just bear with us.
Just go get a drink, a snack, and everything. It's going to take him like 30 minutes.
Says sending data. I know, right?
I'm going to go start dinner here in a moment.
Save.
I'll have my
I
tacos
gotta
done
move
by the
the
time you
stream.
figure this out.
I just got to move the stream key. That's all. It's update. Yes. No. I'm hoping to get it live on the other page. It's one.
You know, I'm going to say this. If anybody wants to realize how much they don't know the alphabet anymore, use a keyboard that's actually in alphabetical order.
Oh, God.
Because that's what this label maker is, in alphabetical order. And I don't know my ABCs anymore. I'm not even going to lie.
All right, so we got the one YouTube is live, the one Facebook is live, but for some reason the you know you're from is not going live.
What you want everybody to see you too? Say hi.
Oh, Bella.
Hi.
Isabella.
Look, you were just out. You had your chance to go potty, but it's storming. So you want to say hi? No.
Why is this one not going live?
You smell like wet dog right now, and not in a good way.
It may only let me stream to the one Facebook, so we're gonna.
Oh no.
We're working on it here.
That'll be all right.
Who was our computer tech in school? I kind of need their help right now.
Yeah, that was back when we were using like what, Windows 98?
I don't even think it was that. We didn't even have that yet.
Or was it 95?
It was probably 95. I don't want to do just webcam. I need to do the streaming software, but it's not letting me stream. All right, well, half of these guys may have to go off the YouTube page because for some reason it's not. You know what? Let's do a refresh here. One more thing. I promise. Okay, hey, there we go. Now it's up. Now, webcam streaming.
Spoke too soon.
Post to group. Posting group. Scroll to the bottom because it's way in the bottom. There we go. Okay. Yeah, it may only let me stream to one Facebook page, which is really weird. I thought we could do both. Copy link. I'm going to go here. That one is streaming. This one still says sending data. Stream key. Save. It may only be the one. So, oh well. I tried.
Well, at least you can
Did
say
you give
tried.
it every chance you could? Did you give it your all? Because I don't think you did. I think you only half-assed it.
I have one more thing I'm going to do to make it easy for those people that are watching or want to watch. I am going to link.
I'm just saying, don't be half-assing it on these people.
I am going to link the live YouTube page to the other, if I can find it. Where's it at?
See, if it gets the other one right, it'll just be 3/4 ass.
Yeah, 3/4 ass is better than half-ass. Ain't nobody got time for half-ass and shit.
I mean,
I don't know what you're looking at. It's raining, so you are not going to go out to go to the bathroom. So you and your sister go someplace.
Copy.
I ain't dealing with this.
All right, stand by. We're almost ready. I promise.
You said that like 10 minutes ago.
Actually, we've been live for almost 4 minutes now, so it hasn't been that long.
4 minutes, 10 minutes. It's still minutes.
Where's my search at? Of course, I got this like half screened. Yes, there. Posting group. Paste. We are live.
Live.
Live. I gotta spell that.
We are live from New York City.
Oh, look.
Join us on YouTube. All right. Sorry. Things happened. They've been corrected, sort of.
Well,
Sorry,
see,
people. They're
you're
half-assed.
live on the
Well, we're
CLM.
three-quarter ass.
You're live on the CLMI page.
Yeah, I just for some reason the other one it's not letting me link it, and I can't. That's the one we always stream to, and it just keeps saying sending data. So I don't know. That's just really weird.
Mm.
So whatever. Something we'll have to play with down the road. So, but guys on that page can follow us on the YouTube page. It's all the same thing.
What if they don't want to, though?
I can't help that. So, well, we haven't. In my defense, we haven't streamed on this page yet. So we've always been streaming on the You're From Carson Long page. So
Yeah, true.
we'll do one from this one. We'll call it an even share.
There we go.
So, which is funny because one of them has. So the You're From Carson Long page. So the guys that don't know, there's obviously a couple pages. One of the big ones is You're From Carson Long which is like a common Facebook page people do. The other one, which we are live on, is I think it's just Carson Long Military Academy. I don't remember. I can't see it. It's blocked. So one of them actually has 900 people members. The other one has 700 members. So if you guys aren't on one or the other, feel free to join the other. I think one of them, I don't remember which, is actually run by a couple of the alumni. So they may ask you to, obviously a couple questions to verify you're from the school or around the school. And also if you are alumni or past alumni, they may ask you to register on the alumni page, which is really easy. You just go on the alumni page, put in your name, address, stuff like that. It's just kind of a way for those guys to keep records of, the cadets and where they're at, what they're doing. So that being said, before we get into anything here, just a couple announcements for some of the guys. I got an email from Mark the other week. They are trying to get the alumni weekend set up for 2026. Got anybody that hasn't gotten that email, please feel free to reach out to me. I will happily forward it to you, but looks like they have a few things that they're looking to do. Starts on Friday. All right, I'm confused. Right. Okay, must be prior to September 19th. Okay, so it's looking like Alumni Week would be October 12th through Sunday, October 18th. Basically, everything culminating the 16th, 17th, and then ending on the 18th. But Friday, they're doing lunch at Sherman's Creek Inn, campus tour around 2:00 in New Bloomfield. 6:30 that night, they're doing a dinner buffet at Duke's Bar and Grill in Riverside, or Duke's Bar and Grill Riverside, which is in. I'm not even going to try and say this town name. Wormleysburg. That's a Perry County thing. Might be Cumberland. And then Saturday, touring the CLI Museum, which I did not know existed. So I might have to check that out. And
I was going to say, I didn't even know we had one.
Clark's Ferry Tavern in Duncannon. So I'm assuming they have a bunch of memorabilia. Many of you guys feel free to correct me. Lunch at 12:00, Rotunda Brew Pub. 2:00, they're going. That's in Hershey. 2:00, they're doing the Car Museum in Hershey, and ending at 6:30 with dinner at Gilligan's Bar and Grill in Mechanicsburg. He did say a couple of them is like a group deal, so bring cash because he's going to pay with a credit card because I guess it's the deal that he got, and it's all in the email. So if you guys need it, I will happily forward it to you. Mark, I would say I'm going to probably butcher your last name, but I'm going to try it. It's Mark Test. I'm not even going to try it. Testai. So if anybody knows him, I apologize. I'm not good with names. So it's like the Book of Honor. Remember that? You had to try to get some of the names. So, but that is Alumni Week coming up in October for those that want to actually go up there. Campus is still just as beautiful. Obviously, Michael and I were up there, I don't know, what, 2 months ago now?
About a month and a half.
Whatever. Yeah, I think we were live streaming up there, but it's still just as beautiful. Wasn't a lot of people there, but it was still nice to go back.
Mm-hmm.
I had the fortune of having Michael as well as 2 other alumni over for Memorial Day. So the 2 of us were joined by Jamie Kierden and Charles Dewsnip.
Mm-hmm.
It was definitely a good time. Walk down memory lane with some of you guys and some of the stories you guys had that I forgot about. But yeah, it was a good weekend. I mean, it was a long weekend, but you guys, I know a bunch of you guys actually showed up around 1:00. You all came at the same time, and I think you guys were here until what? I think you left around 7 or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was around 7:00. So I'm like, all right, I need to head out.
Jamie stayed for a little while longer. I know Charles had an hour ride back to Allentown area.
Yeah.
Phillips wanted to come down, but he had family stuff, and he had a little family stuff going on. But we'll get him on the next run.
Yeah.
So, but so one of the things that I wanted to bring up is, and this was Merrick and I were talking earlier, and even my buddy Nick, we were talking. I'm like, this is going to be kind of a controversial episode, but guys, don't take this personally. Some of the stuff we're going to say are just our opinions. It's just how we see things. But one of the things that one of the guys posted on one of the pages the other day was, I guess he wasn't aware of the school's status per se. So unless you live under a rock or off the grid or don't get on the internet, for those that don't know, yes, the school is closed. Probably
almost 10 years ago now.
Has it been that long?
10 years.
Yeah.
It's been about 10 years.
God. Yeah,
That's
so
how I don't get
probably
how
about
nobody
10
knows.
years. Yeah. So probably about 10 years now. We kind of had a how do I want to put, like a last alumni weekend, and then I was probably the year after, I think we did the big one, the one that I did, that we did the whole official closing of the school. We had a big after lunch party, if you want to call it that. But yeah, it was a very big weekend. I forget how many people we ended up getting. I know it was well over 100. But that was definitely a good weekend. But yeah, a lot of the guys, I guess, that do. I mean, not everybody's on Facebook, so I get it. Not everybody looks on the internet. Especially the older classmen. Obviously Colonel Holman wasn't on Facebook. So I can understand that some people that might be new to Facebook may not have understood it or known that the school was closed. Obviously, if you don't get up that way or you're not from this area, like we had the fortune, we're from this area. We're 2 hours away, if that. Merrick, you're what, 3 hours, something like that?
About 3, close to 4.
Okay, so you're 4 hours.
Yeah.
My buddy Nick, obviously, he lives by me. So I spend a lot of time up there. I go back up there a lot with the fire company. Spend some time up there. You guys have all heard that, but it's weird that to hear somebody say that they didn't know the school was closed, but in the same aspect, I can kind of understand. Not everybody's on the grid like that. Bear with me. I'm just double checking the social media status. Why is my YouTube not showing up now?
Because you broke it.
I probably did. Yeah, I'm good at breaking things. Yeah, we know that.
We know that.
Yeah, whatever. I'm sure it's still. I can check it on my phone. But some of the comments that were made, and this is kind of what I wanted the topic to be. Some of the comments were, I guess, directed towards why the school closed. Obviously, we all have our own reasons and beliefs as to why it closed. We all have our ideas. Mike, you and I have talked about it numerous times before. I still stand by the biggest reason. When Colonel Holman retired, the school retired, is kind of how we worded it. I'm not saying that's the reason. I know obviously the cost of tuition going up was definitely not,
Helpful.
that did not help it. We talked before, a lot of the older guys, 40, 50, 60, 70s and so on. I don't know what your guys' tuition was. I know when we were there in late 90s, you were roughly 10,000 to, I'll say, 13 with uniforms, books, etc. So 10 to 13. Later years, I know by the time they closed, I was hearing numbers in the 30,000 for
Yeah,
1 year.
because I actually had my oldest son enrolled, and we had gone up and toured the campus, and then we got a letter saying that he got accepted. And I remember talking to you about that, and it probably wasn't
Yeah,
even 2, 3 weeks later. You called me, and I was at work, and you're like, the school's closing, and I'm like, wait,
yeah,
what?
yeah. I think I was the one. I was the one that told you that. Yeah,
And then I called up to Carson Long, and then I threw them for a Fruit Loop because technically I wasn't supposed to even know that. And I'm like, too late. I know.
yeah. I wasn't supposed to know either, and I'm not going to drop the name of who told me, but
Mm-hmm.
we won't go there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think between it was a multiple factors. I mean, you guys have all commented. I mean, I could probably go through and read some of the comments, but you guys have all commented. Cost of tuition, um, modern age. You and I have talked about that, Michael, in one of the past podcasts. Uh, modern technology. We were the first generation. Rizzo, myself, Jerry Foltz, some of these other guys. We were the first generation to actually have laptops and computers, desktops at the
Yep.
school.
Yep.
I mean, my first year there, our desk was a square. You remember, was a square wooden desk, and that
Yep.
was all you had.
Yep.
And then one day we're outside, and these tractor trailers pull in, and everybody says, "Go outside." And we're like, "Why?" "Oh, we got new desks." And we were
Yep.
like, "Holy crap!" Like these were nice computer desks.
I
And
remember. I think it was my junior year, your senior year, or
I,
maybe the year
I
before. I can't
honestly,
remember.
I want to say it was my second year. I want to say my junior year.
Okay, so it would have been my sophomore year then.
I think it was my junior year. And
Yeah.
I just remember like these tractor trailers and trucks rolled in, and they like all the loaded with desks, and they had like the top shelves and everything, and they were
Mm-hmm.
nice. They were really nice. So we had that fortune of going from that dinky little 4x4 desk by the radiator that burned your food to having these really nice computer style desks.
Yep.
So we were kind of that first generation to have computers, have laptops, but we were also restricted. You know, you could only be on it during downtime, or if you were in study hall and they came up, you couldn't be on it. I mean, for a while, my senior year, obviously we had the laptops, and which was nice. You're able to do book reports, stuff like that,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
other than trying to connect to somebody's printer. Again, Windows 95. But we had that luxury. We didn't have internet,
No,
so
we
it's
didn't.
not like we could go on and cheat the system. I think in the later years when the internet came about, it kind of took away from that. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but
Ruined everything.
not responsibility, but like being able to have internet access and look things up. Like we didn't have that. We were handed a dictionary and said, "Here, look it up." And
Yep.
you had to hope for the best. I remember our senior book report. The senior class for your senior book report, you would go to the state library in Harrisburg.
It's fair. Yep. I remember
And
that.
you would spend a whole afternoon at the state library looking at the books and whatever you needed to look up, for your book report.
Yep.
Versus skip 15 years later, they had internet. They didn't have to do that. I read one comment was the other day was, letters home to the parents. You and I talked about that, running around
Oh yeah. Mother's hour. Yep.
on a Sunday looking for a stamp going, yo, who's got a stamp,
Mm-hmm.
versus, email a letter home to your parents. It kind of takes away from the responsibility part.
Yep.
Are you cooking again?
No,
I haven't gotten my dinner yet.
they didn't bring you dinner yet.
No, they're working on it. I'm doing this.
Unbelievable.
They're doing that. They're doing that, and I'm doing this. It's okay. But again, like I think the generational, and I don't want to pick on Gen Z, but I'm going to do it. I was borderline Gen X. I was November of '79. I'm right on that borderline. Obviously, Michael, you were a little after what comes after, what's after the Nick, you would know better. What's after the Gen X? I don't remember.
Isn't that the millennials? Well, they're
Millennial.
trying to
Yeah,
add
they
a
throw
new
Yeah,
one.
they,
millennial.
they say the millennials, but
It's
But
not. They're trying to add a third one because they say that like between like you and like I think 84 or 85 is like not millennials.
where I'm
It's
going
like
with it is you look at the Gen Z, and some of the comments that I was reading was you had I don't want to say the word was den mothers, but like platoon mothers, I think was the word I saw.
oh yeah, yeah.
they needed safe places with
E-
puppies.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have that.
No.
Okay, I'll say it, and I know he's listening. Pop, I love you. You know, Major Kamoli or David Kamoli was, I called him Pop. It wasn't, okay, hey, I need help, I need someone to talk to, or it wasn't like that. It was just, hey, Pop, what's up, and it was just a joke. Plus, that year, if you recall, he had just had his firstborn. So
Yeah.
that's kind of where that came into play. But it was more of a joke between me and him where, I kind of I bit my tongue on one comment. One of the guys attacked. Everybody calls her Ma. Karen McVitie. Love you, Ma. Hope you're listening. The one guy kind of I don't want to say attacked her, but he kind of was like, "Well, were you one of the one of the platoon moms?" Well, no. I mean, she was everybody's mom. I mean, I didn't go to school when she was there. I met her and knew her after the school. After I left. Just a nice woman, sweet woman, greatest person in the world. Invited me to dinner one time. Unfortunately, things happened. I didn't make it. I still apologize for that, Karen. I'm sorry. Um, but the later generation with the platoon mom, stuff like that. Like to me, that takes away from the military structure.
Yep.
So again, here's another thing that you're pulling away from the school. You're pulling away that structure that you know, I mean, we say it all the time: how to learn, how to labor, how to live are are three things.
Yep.
We
Yeah,
did
like
that because we had that strict structure. Um,
take that away. What's the point of military school?
exactly,
Exactly. It
exactly.
turned into a preparatory school, is what happened.
Yes. So going there, some of the other comments that we were reading were, oh, they should have opened it up to a day school, blah blah blah. So just so that some of you guys know, and the later guys or Rodney Grover, you guys may be able to correct me. I was under the impression toward the end they did that. It
Yeah.
was open, and we had people from not only New Bloomfield, Carlisle, Shermansdale, that area. Um, so I may be mistaken, but the way I understand it was we had people from that area that would come up there in the daytime, strictly in the daytime, not the boarding part of it. So as far as I know, they were doing that. That was an option that they opened up toward the end. Um, so I mean, obviously, these are a lot of things that took into play. A couple of the comments was, well, they put the one president in there strictly to shut the school down. I don't think that was the case. I wasn't on the alumni board. I don't know. I
Was
can't
that
see that
the first guy that took over once Colonel Holman
I
retired?
I think that's who he was referring to. I'm not positive.
Yeah, because I remember hearing some scuttlebutt about that too, and I'm
I,
like,
I met
what?
I met him. Very nice guy. Don't get me wrong. Nice guy. Shook
I
my
don't
hand.
remember what his name was.
I'm drawing a blank now. But I remember it was like his first year there. I went up, he introduced himself. Very nice guy, very professional, very military. But the difference between him and Colonel Holman was just there was a huge difference.
Hmm.
Even toward the end, I could walk up to Colonel Holman, shake his hand, and you're like, yes, sir, no, sir. Like you were still in that strict mode, if you want to
Yep.
call it that.
Yep.
So this guy I didn't get that vibe from him. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they did put him there to do that. I don't know. Again, a lot of the other comments were, and these are the ones that I really agree with, were military schools are a dying breed. okay, and a couple of you guys nailed it.
Yeah.
Not even 10 years, probably less than that now. It was not, whatever. Valley Forge closed.
Yep.
There's a reason Valley Forge closed. Obviously, probably the same reasons that we closed. The military schools are definitely a dying breed. Like we talked about this on the last podcast. You could probably count on two hands how many are left. I don't know the exact number, but I know there's definitely not a lot of them left.
The only ones that I really know of now anymore are what? Just the Air Force Academy, the Naval Academy, West Point.
Yeah. I'm just checking streams here real quick, so bear with me again. I always try to check the stream.
I don't know of any other military schools that are open anymore.
I don't
looked
either.
The last time we did this, there was very few.
I know there was the one that Mark Morgan was teaching at. I don't know if it's still around or not.
I think I only saw like 3 of them still active, and they were nowhere near the East Coast. I will. I'm actually starting to cook, so after I'm done, I will look again.
What's for dinner, Nick?
Tacos.
Oh, that's right. We're both doing tacos. That's right.
Okay, so according to Google, and I'm just doing a quick figure, it says there are exactly 5 federal service academies and approximately 66 private and/or state-supported military schools operating
That sounds
in the
right. I
United
knew it was
States.
less than 10.
Yeah, I mean that's just crazy. That really is. That's crazy.
But let's be clear: this generation in itself can't handle structure and discipline.
Yeah, you're right.
And
You yell at
I
them, and they're
hate to
crying.
say that. I hate to say that, but 100% agree.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. We had guys in our class that couldn't handle it. I mean,
right.
You
I can
yelled at
think of
me
a
and
couple,
made
but
me
I won't
clean
say
up.
nothing.
I mean, we definitely had a few, but it's definitely a dying breed. People, and honestly, virtual schooling is the big thing. You hear that all the time. A lot of kids are doing virtual schooling. I had a couple in my firehouse, that do virtual schooling. I mean, it's cheaper. You don't have to worry about, and I'm not saying this directed at my school. I'm more public schools, but you don't have to worry about your kid getting beat up in school or getting into a fight, vice versa. You don't have any of that with virtual learning.
Here's the problem with that. I can tell you this from interviewing people at my last job. Kids don't have any socialization in that. They don't know how to act in front of people.
I mean, I joke. I won't say who it is. I joke with our one kid in the firehouse all the time. Every time you turn around, you look at him, he's doing this. And it's like, dude, you got to be able to go 10 minutes without being on your phone. Especially in today's job world. You can't be on your phone 24/7 playing your games or texting your friends. Now some of us are fortunate enough to be able to do that at work. But whether we should or not. I mean, like Nick and I talk. We talk all day on the phone. I mean, we grew up together. My best friend. Jerry Foltz actually met him when he was down here. If we ever get him on here with Nick, we have a really good story to tell.
Oh God!
I don't even think Jerry. I don't even think Jerry remembers this story, but we get him on. We're gonna tell it, and he's gonna laugh because I know he'll remember it. But like Nick and I talk all day on the phone, but I have my Bluetooth in, and he knows if I don't have my Bluetooth in, dude, I'll call you back. I'm not gonna sit there on my phone and hold my phone. But a lot of times too, I can continue doing what I'm doing if I'm working on a vehicle or whatever while talking to him. So, but yeah, it's like today's youth. It's just that's just not there. Still trying. I don't know why this one won't go to this live stream.
Well, I even noticed like when Matthew, my oldest son, and I went up to tour the school before it closed, and they did a little quote unquote parade for us. Oh my God!
It's just weird. Like I watch, and we're showing our age. I got the VHS tape of when we were there.
I mean, you are old as heck. Throwing that out there.
I'll be polite. I won't do it on camera. But like I got the VHS tapes from my dad, from our parades and stuff, and it's insane when you watch it. You see 200 some cadets. And then I remember, and Nick, you might have even been with me when we went up there in the later years, and I'm like, I looked out and I'm like, this is it? Like, where is everybody? And I think I even looked at Charles Burlington, and I'm like, is there like a mall trip going on? Or he goes, no, this is everybody. This is what we got. And I'm like, 50 people? Like,
I actually
we had
remember that the last
215.
time we went
But
up,
yeah,
there was hardly anybody there,
It
and
was
you're like,
it was roughly 50 people.
but even then, like watching them when they did their quote unquote marching, I'm like, you're not marching, you're walking.
And that too.
And just like the way they did the commands and everything, I'm like, I don't even think the people in the cemetery can hear you.
I don't even.
Yeah,
You know what? I'm going to go there. We'll go there.
I'm sorry.
I mean, you got guys like, and some of you guys from our generational, definitely. I'd love to hear some of the older guys, the older classes, and how you guys did things. We definitely got to get some of you guys on here. Next one, I promise, we'll try to do it on a weekend. I promise.
he's lying.
Thanks. But you get guys like Christopher McCullough. Him and I joke all the time. I said, dude, just one more time. One more time. I want to hear you yell post. Just once. You get guys like Kalpesh Shah, old Danny. I mean, I could list you a bunch of these guys, that when they sounded off, you knew. You heard it downtown. It was from the chest. It was from here, I mean,
Sound off like you got a pair.
Yeah, especially
exactly.
like Chris. Chris would do, when he said post, oh my God, if you were standing in front of him when he said it, he'd blow you backwards. And him and I still joke about that when we talk. But then you flash forward 15, 20 years, and it was like, I don't even know how to describe it. It was almost like, I'll say it. It was almost like throat singing. Like if anybody's ever heard throat singing, that's what it was like. And it's just, to me, that's not asserting your authority, if that's the best way to put it. You're not asserting your authority enough. You're just sitting there telling people stand at attention. Nick, you were there for some of that. You heard it.
Yes.
And I even looked at you and I was like, I'm almost embarrassed by this. Because all that
I feel like you should give everybody
I was embarrassed.
A demonstration of throat singing.
No.
I can recall there was one year I went up, and this was when my boys were little. They were about like 7 and 5 or 6 and 8 or something like that. And they might have been a little over 100 students then. But I remember Alan Yanofsky was there, Irving Zeiderbit was there, Randy Tuberman was there, and there was somebody else. But they did the parade. And they're watching. I even Alan, because he was looking at the cadets that were supposed to be representing 49, and he was shaking his head. He was going, "That's not my building." I said, "Oh, I know." It was.
So I don't know, Merrick. You might remember this. My senior year, I was first sergeant A company.
Yeah.
The whole first half of the year, I got made fun of because you got the squeaky voice, And it's funny because and Jerry Foltz might remember this. We were in the building, and I used to do it all the time in the building, and I never thought like put 2 and 2 together. Never even thought of that. He actually told me to do it. We were in the building one time. I used to, and I actually still can. I'm not doing it on air, so don't even ask me. But when we do our fire department funerals, usually I'm the one that's asked to call attention and all that because I don't know if you remember. Halfway through my senior year, Jerry put me up to a prank, and it stuck with me. He goes, dude, you walk around this building all the time making fun of Lee Ermey, sounding off exactly like him from Full Metal Jacket. And to this day, I can still ask Nick. He's heard me do it. He can vouch for it. But like to this day, I still do it. And he's like, you do that all the time. And I'm like, okay, so what? He goes, then how come when you go out at lineup, you sound like a little bitch? I'm like, really, dude? He goes, you do. You got a squeaky voice. He goes, I dare you just once to go out there and do it well, it was the time we didn't know nobody knew who Lee Ermey was at the time. It was Sergeant Hartman.
Sergeant Hartman, yeah.
He's like, I dare you just once to go out there and sound like Sergeant Hartman. I'm like, all right, they're accepted. And it was dinner lineup, and I did it. And it was, I don't know if it was Sergeant Stone or whoever it was happened to be walking past, and he stopped. And I didn't see him at first. He was like behind everybody. And we go in, we have dinner, we leave dinner, and we're joking about it. Like, oh my God, dude, you really did it. You know, oh, you sounded just like Sergeant Hartman. And Sergeant Stone was standing in the doorway. And I'm
Oh
like,
no.
uh-oh. And he looks at me, and he's just shaking his head no. And I'm like, what? And he's just shaking his head no, turns around and walks out. And I'm like, okay. And I think it was the next morning I went back, that lineup, it was like, okay, I just did my usual squeaky voice.
Uh-huh.
And it wasn't until ROTC class, or the LET class, LET class,
Yeah.
that he said something to me. He goes, I don't know what you were trying to pull out there. He goes, but I've seen Full Metal Jacket. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm in trouble. And he looks at me and he goes, you should do that more often. You sound more professional. And for the rest of the year, that's how I did it. But it was so funny. He was like, he looked at me and he goes, he said, I don't know what you're trying to pull, but I've seen Full Metal Jacket. And I'm like, oh crap, I'm in trouble. And he goes,
Right.
you should do that the rest of the year because you sound more, his words were, you sound more professional that way. And that's what I did. That's the rest of the year. That's how I did it.
You didn't sound like a squeaky little bitch.
It was so funny. Jerry's like, why can't you do that every lineup? You sound like a little bitch. You done it 7, yeah. But no, I think like Nick was there. He heard it. It was more like throat singing. It wasn't that assertive military, drill team style.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't that authoritative figure like we had. And that's why I said, I'm curious, like the guys in the older classes, I'm curious, like, is that were you guys loud, assertive, or were you guys like the quieter, like the future, the newer generation was? Like, I'm really curious at that. But again, going back to the topic, I think it was a mix of a lot of things, rising tuition, staff cost. We've definitely had that conversation. I won't revisit that one.
Yeah.
But staff cost. Obviously they changed the dining service. They went from Sage Dining, which was, everybody remembers Mr. Fox and
Yep.
the people before him. They went to the newer, more healthier, because we didn't eat healthy. The more healthier diet. Well, my thing was, how are you going to sit there and tell me we weren't eating healthy when we had to eat everything you brought us?
Especially if you sat at Colonel Holman's table, you better have eat your vegetables first, or else.
I dreaded that. Like, I love spaghetti night, but it always came with a salad. Nick will tell you, I am not a salad person. I will not eat a salad. It's not my thing. Nope, sorry, pass. And I would dread that at Colonel Holman's table, because I'd be like, take the biggest mouthful I can, close my eyes, and just chug it down with something to wash it down with, But you had a couple we did have a few of the teachers that, I'm trying to say, like cottage cheese, which I mean, Nick, you're a chef. Cottage cheese to me as like an appetizer, that's just to me, that's just weird. I don't know. But I mean, I recall like, go ahead, Nick.
Cottage cheese for like breakfast with some fruit. Yes.
Oh, we had it at dinner. It would be like
it was at dinner time.
It was a starter for dinner. Like, here's your cottage cheese, and you'd get a plate with cottage cheese on it as your starter. That was just
like, yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me. Like, if you said it was like breakfast, they gave you a little cottage cheese with some fresh fruit, I'd be like, that makes sense.
Although occasionally we did get Philly cream cheese. Occasionally we did get that. It was very rare. But there were a couple, like Colonel Stewart, God rest his soul. Colonel Stewart, if he knew you didn't eat it, he would give you like the littlest bit and just be like, here, just swallow it, So we did have a couple of the staff that they knew if you didn't eat it, they'd be like, okay, look, I have to give it to you. Just here, take a little piece, or, here, have a piece of lettuce out of it, But obviously we had some of them that were like, here, eat this. And then obviously, Mike, you remember, God forbid you got caught trying to send it back or whatever. I recall several people standing at the very front of the dining hall with an entire 6-person portion salad being told to eat the entire salad.
Yep, I
Thank
do
God that
too.
thank God that was never me because I wouldn't be able to do it.
What are
You
you
would just
doing?
make yourself throw up.
Right?
I'm doing a podcast with some of my alumni.
Kids.
It's the mini boss.
Oh God. They grow up quick. Telling you, they grow up quick.
Yeah, they do.
I'm lucky I only got one. One and done. Nick's got two, but they both got 4 legs. So
Yeah. I was smart. I stuck with the fur kids. I can legally lock mine up in a cage and not get in trouble.
Okay, I'll call you back in a little bit.
For those that don't know, I also have a dog. I have a husky. If you're thinking about getting a husky
Oh, yeah.
because they talk and they scream and they yell, great idea. They shed horribly.
Hmm.
They don't.
I tell
They
people
don't shed. It explodes.
my husky doesn't shed. It explodes. Like obviously I got the blanket behind me. What you don't see is the 20 minutes prior to this of me trying to get the dog hair off, Yeah. It's horrible. But yeah, again, obviously, a lot of reasons why school closed. You
Yeah,
can't
and it
sit
was
there and blame one or the other. It was definitely a mix of pretty much everything we talked about. I still stick to my guns. I think, and I think Mike, you can agree. I think when Colonel Holman retired, that was the start of the downfall, and that was just it.
well. I know. I remember when he retired, which we all thought that he was never going to retire. Like we thought he was literally going to die running that school.
Oh
But
yeah, yeah.
I know he was on the board of directors, and from what I understand, after he left, that's when everything really went downhill.
Yeah.
Now I've heard that he left voluntarily. I've heard he was asked to step down. I've heard a couple variations. I don't know what's.
And
I'm
again,
sure we could probably chew the fat on that for God knows how long. But
yeah.
I mean, the bottom line is, once he was completely uninvolved with the school, that's when everything just crashed
And
and
again,
burned.
we're not pointing the finger. We're not
Yeah.
blaming anybody on the board. If you guys are watching, we're not blaming the alumni. I mean, it's nobody's fault. I truly believe that, when he retired, that was it. Nobody. I think actually one of the comments was something about Theodore K. Long. You had Theodore K. Long. You had Colonel Holman's father.
Edward Holman. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah.
You had Edward Holman, Colonel Edward Holman. You had Colonel Carson Holman. Okay. There's 3 direct line right there. Okay. When Colonel Holman retired, nobody else took over. So take it how you want. Again, not pointing the finger, but I think it was just that time. It was the time period. Again, we just talked about a few minutes ago. Military schools now are a dying breed. You said there's how many left in the country?
According to Google, there's roughly about 60 or so left that are like private school, whatever. And I was kind of looking through the list, and not even all of them are like true military schools, like what we experienced when we went. So,
yeah, I know.
No, there was only less than 10 of them when I looked up last time. There was
yeah.
hardly any.
I know, like Mrs. Morgan told me when they went down to I think it's Southern Preparatory Academy is the one they were at. And I don't even know. Honestly, I don't even know if that's still around. I'd have to Google that. But even she said, she's like, this was Carson Long of the South. She's like, you take Carson Long and move it to the South. That's what this school was. And even she said to me, she's like, do you know how hard that is to find? I mean, that's like a needle in a haystack. I mean, obviously, they only found the one. So
You can even look like, especially like down here, there's a few schools that have like the JROTC program at the public schools, right? But you
our
watch
public
how
school here had it.
yeah, but you watch how they operate and stuff like that, and you're like, that's not.
But
No.
here you're talking a public school, okay? I mean, I'll take I'll say everybody knows where I live anyway. I live in Aston now. We have Sun Valley High School. I don't think they have it anymore. Maybe somebody will correct me later. They used to have, I believe it was the Marine ROTC. But again, here you're talking a program that is what? Maybe 2 hours a day, if that, where we are 24/7.
Mhm.
I mean, with a few breaks here and there, but we were 24/7. And even after we left, we were still military school. And until you walk in your front door, you can't take that uniform off. Yeah, we all heard that.
Yeah.
We all heard that. As soon as you get in the car, that's out.
Well, with me and mom, my mom was like, "Wait till we get at least halfway down, and we'll stop at a gas station, and you can change there." Okay.
I'll be honest. I'll be honest. I kept mine on. I might have undid my blouse, jacket, whatever.
Yeah.
I might have undid it or taken that off, but for the most part, I stayed in uniform. We're 2 hours away. Yeah, dude, get me home. I'll change when I get home.
Yeah.
Put some good clothes on. I was never like bring me a change of clothes or any of that.
Yeah.
Your dad wanted it anyway.
Yeah,
Wear
probably.
the
Yeah,
uniform.
they said you got to wear it home.
Right.
There was the one time I was late though because we got stuck in traffic and it was like I don't even remember what it was, like a half hour backup. I was like a half hour late, and I think it was Quitech was like, well, technically you weren't here on time. I'm like, but you're still doing count. Like, come on, dude. He let it slide. He's like, I won't say nothing. He's like, we're still doing the count, but you are late. I'm like, and my dad's like, yeah, we hit an accident. And
Oh yeah.
but
I would have just been like, I don't drive. I can't control that.
And honestly, Nick, I mean, here's a prime example, Nick. We live 2.5 hours to campus, give or take. Okay. Colonel Holman would sit there and tell you, well, if it takes you 2.5 hours to get here, then you should leave an hour earlier.
Oh yes. Leave an hour earlier. Oh yeah.
I recall going home one time, and we're going east going home. Westbound on the turnpike was completely closed. 20-mile backup for like a major crash. And all I could think of was I could have left at 8 o'clock in the morning and I'd still be sitting there come 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So what does it matter if I would have left early? But no, you would have been put on general order or whatever it was because you were late getting back on campus. Am I wrong?
No, you're right.
No, you should have left earlier. You should have predicted these things. You should have taken a detour. I can hear every excuse.
Oh yeah, he would have come up with some reason why.
I can see it now, standing in front of his desk. Well, you could have went the other way.
You should have left at 4 in the morning and got here at 7.
You left early.
You should have got here 18 hours earlier. The day
right.
That's funny. But yeah, like I said, I mean, a lot of the reasonings. I mean, like I said, we're not picking on anybody. We're not attacking anybody. It's just,
liar.
I think it was no. I mean, I'm not. I think it was.
You're not.
I will say, I think the first couple years after it all went down, especially for those of us that are, that were really
hardcore
alumni, we were really upset and we had a lot of malice towards everybody. But now that the dust is settled,
And Chris McCullough, he was the first one to sit there and say to me, he still says to me every day, he's like, dude, it's done. It's over. Let it go. Let it go. That's all he keeps saying. Let it go. Just let it go. And I said to him, like, look, I said, the podcast is nice. It's a way for us all to kind of, stroll down memory lane, stuff like that. I mean, we don't do it as much as we probably should. We're working on that, but it's a nice way of us to kind of bring up stories. We want to try and do it a little more night and weekend to get some of these other guys in here and get their stories. But he's right. It is. It's done. It's over. You can't blame anybody. I honestly think it was, with Colonel Holman retiring and the mix of the modern times, it was a matter of time, boarding schools in general. It's a dying thing. You don't see it like you used to. So,
I mean, I'd hate to say it though, but look at what this world turned into. Most parents aren't going to trust their kids to be away from them with everything that happens in this world.
True.
Well, yeah, there's that too.
Like, kids in public schools get attacked, sexual abuse, everything. Like now you're sending your kid hours away.
And like Mike, you and I talked when you, Charles, and Jamie were over here. We talked about the one incident. That supposedly took place and whatever. You know,
Yeah.
I can honestly say that I've never witnessed or seen anything along that line.
No.
I cannot confirm nor deny that hazing existed. I mean, come on, let's be honest. It was there. Everybody got hazed. Every one of us. We did it. We got it. You know, vice versa.
Yeah. Well,
That and that's
I will
any
say there were a couple of cadets that needed some um
A bar of soap and a
persuasion.
pillowcase.
pretty much.
They
I mean, that's a
needed
polite
to
way
be
to put it.
shown the light, maybe, or something. You know.
And but in the same aspect, yes, it happened,
Yeah.
but it also I don't want to say it was out of control because there were times that yes, it got out of control.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And the times that it did were definitely dealt with.
Oh
You
yep.
know, so I can honestly say that some of the stuff that I did see, and it was like, okay, dude, you went too far. You know, you give me a write up. You're written up. You know, whatever.
Yep.
You know, so there were those sexual allegations, whatever. I can honestly say never,
Yeah.
never
That crap
happened.
never happened.
Um, you know, I mean, like Nick said, today's day and age, as a parent, yeah, I'd be a little concerned too. I mean, you know, as a father of one, you know, she's 22 now with three of her own. But yeah, I would be concerned sending my kid to a military school.
Hmm.
But in the same aspect, if you have that structure like we had, you know, and you have the proper staffing, you don't have to worry about that. But again, modern times, you know, a lot of that's changed. You know, we talked about before, like we we had, what was it, Vera? I think Vera was thrown out for having a cell phone. Fast forward 10 years later, everybody on campus had a damn cell phone.
Yep.
Whether or not you were, you know, you weren't allowed to use it or whatever, but how are you going to justify 10 years ago you threw one person out, but now you got everybody on campus has one?
Yep.
You know, there were things that our guys got thrown out for that later in the years was a common practice. You know, and I'm not saying that the staff was wrong for allowing them cell phones, but again, here, how to learn, how to labor, how to live.
Live. Yep.
We did that because we didn't have the reliability of a cell phone or anything. You
Yep.
know, we had to work for what we wanted. One of the things I think somebody even mentioned was, you know, the $10. I think we were limited $10. God forbid you had anything more than that. It was 1 hour of hour guard for every dollar over that you had on you. You know,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I commented on that earlier, saying even in today's age, $10 didn't buy you what it did back then.
exactly.
Well,
So
oh yeah, that's true.
you know, so now if you look at today's, you know, you look at Carson Long today, you can't tell a kid that he can only have $10 on him. You know, what's he gonna buy for $10? He's gonna go downtown and buy a soda and a bag of chips, and he's broke.
Yeah, pretty much.
Or I don't know if anybody's been in the Quickie Mart lately. They got a nice little casino machine in there now.
Oh yeah.
Or you'd have to go in there and try to double or triple your money just so you could get a
Right, just so you
candy
can
bar
buy
with that.
Yeah, right.
you know, but like the I think the modern times again, the modern times is
Yeah.
a big factor in this, you know. Obviously campus, you know, updating the campus definitely needed to be done. You know, you saw that walking through the campus. We were opening up doors in the rooms and we're like, holy crap, like why couldn't we have this, you know?
Yep. I still remember the old chalkboards.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we had just gotten the whiteboards, I believe. They were just starting to get the whiteboards, and then after we left, I think they started going to the smart boards. They actually a couple of them got the smart boards, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it was only a couple of years after us, I think they started getting smart boards in. So, but I know that's when they were trying to get the internets and all that stuff. And but
Yeah.
Terry says, enjoying the podcast. It's a shame the school closed. I enjoyed my 3 years there. It made me the person I am today. Obviously, you know, we've had that talk a bunch. You know, we, like I said, my first job out of high school, you know, I was a security guard at Riddle Hospital, whatever, you know, mom and pop type job. And right after that, I went to U.S. Airways. 6 months into being U.S. Airways, they looked at me and they said, "What's LET training?" And I said, "Oh, I was in ROTC in military school." "Oh, want to be a manager?" And boom, I was a manager at U.S. Air. You know, I mean, it was low level management, but it was still
Mhm.
better than nothing. So, Doug Stewart says, I'm still learning how to use this, so bear with me. So, I love listening to the podcast. I grew up at CLI, and Colonel Stewart was my dad. Oh, that explains it.
Really?
Yeah, Doug Stewart. Yeah. Wow.
Sweet.
Well, I can honestly say, Doug, I sat next to your father multiple times, at lunch. Very,
And I
very
remember.
nice man. I definitely missed him. Definitely enjoyed his company.
Oh yeah,
You know, your mom, if Mrs. Stewart was obviously, I'm assuming your mom, wonderful woman, worked the library when we were there. Mike, you remember Mrs. Stewart?
I do. I remember both very wonderful
Wonderful
people.
woman. So,
Oh yeah.
but definitely, thanks for chiming in on that. So,
Yeah.
wow, I I didn't know that. I didn't know Colonel Stewart even had a kid. Who knew?
Got it. Well,
Learning something new every day.
That's it. So, but yeah, yeah. Like I said, I mean, it's just it's a different world. I mean, it definitely is. You know, I mean, we see it all day long. Mike, you're in the fire and EMS business, so am I. You know, I work in the towing business full time. You know, we see it every day. You know, I mean, I don't want to say privileged, but we'll say it, privileged people. You know, I mean, I get it all the time with the police impounds. If you guys don't believe me, just go on YouTube and search body cam police and just start watching some of these body cams and you'd be amazed. So,
Ah, they're my favorite. You can't take that. That's theft.
yeah. I had a lady a couple weeks ago tell me I was stealing her car, and I was like, "Well, you're driving with no registration, no proof of insurance, your license is suspended, but I'm stealing your car." No, it's called I'm impounding your car. You can come get it later. All day long, man. All day long.
oh yeah.
But all right, well, we're coming up on the hour of our hour guard, um, but yeah, I mean, like I said, guys, I wasn't trying to be controversial or anything like that. I mean, we just kind of, you know, a couple of these posts went up this week, and Mike and I talked a little back and forth. Nick and I, you obviously, Nick and I talked a bunch about it, and I just wanted to, you know, I kind of wanted to vent some stuff to you guys that, you know, we can't blame one person or any group of people. It was just a mix of things. It was the modern times, um, obviously the school definitely needed a lot of upkeep. I know that the community that's in there now. I mean, obviously, anybody that hasn't seen it, I will be happy to show you some of the videos that we took or
Oh
pictures.
yeah. Yeah.
Campus, I mean, complete 360 in some of these rooms. New flooring, new walls. I mean, they really, really did a number on campus. Still beautiful though. Campus has been kept the same. They took a couple trees out, which probably should have come out anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
But a couple trees, stuff like that cleaned up. But the campus itself is still just as beautiful. You guys ever get time, go up there. They're very friendly up there. They're very arm opening.
Mm-hmm.
Other than I got
Yeah,
yelled
I
at.
was going to say I have never had the times that I've gone up there and I've talked to a couple people and then they go, "Oh, you actually were," and then they start asking questions. Well, what was it like? What was this? What was that? What? And I mean, they want to know.
I only got yelled at that one time for having the drone. He said this is a no drone zone, and I didn't realize what he was saying.
Oh.
And he was joking with me. He's like, "I'm just joking." He's like, "I saw your shirt." He's like, "I was just messing with you."
Oh.
He was very happy. He's like, "Dude." I'm like, I can put the drone down if you want to. No. He's like, "You're fine, dude. Get whatever pictures you want, And I actually on the main building that you guys are seeing, I actually put the drone right to the emblem up top and got a beautiful like straight on picture of it. So it was kind of nice. The guy's like, he's like, "Just don't hit the building." I'm like, "I ain't gonna hit the building." But yeah, they're very arm opening up there, very people. So if you guys don't be afraid to go up there again. Alumni weekend, they do still do that. It's not what it used to be, obviously, because we don't have the campus, but they still go on campus and tour the campus. Obviously, if you guys want any info on that, feel free to reach out to me. I'll put you in touch with the right people, or forward you the email. But other than that, like I said, we will try to do one on a weekend. Mike, I don't know if you're around this. I don't even know. I don't think I'm on call all weekend, so I'm around if you're free. If you want to,
it would have to be Sunday.
All right, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, I'm around. We can shoot another one Sunday, and I'll reach out to Jerry and Chris and a few of these guys. I still want to get McIntosh on here. So McIntosh, if you're listening, reach out to me. I want to get you on here. We got a couple stories about him too. We want to tell.
Oh Lord, yeah, I haven't seen her talk to Mac in years either. That's been a while.
Well, if he's listening, all I'm going to say is it involves me, Jerry, him, and a laundry cart.
And I remember you sharing that story over Memorial Day weekend.
I got pictures to prove it. So just saying, hazing did not exist. Yeah, okay. But
it's like I said, and there, and I'm sure you could probably think of a couple yourself. But I know there was a couple of cadets over the years in my building that needed some guidance or however you want to word it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But I mean, and then there were times where things did get out of hand, but like you said, it was definitely dealt with.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, we did screw around. Staff knew we did. There's no way they didn't. I mean,
Oh yeah.
you remember you were here Memorial Weekend, and we'll save this one for next weekend. But you know what we talked about it, what went on in the dining hall after hours at
Oh,
CA. I mean, you know, you guys will hear those stories this weekend. But
oh yeah.
you know, it's stuff like that that it brings you back. You know, it keeps the memories alive, and that's kind of why we're here. Real quick too, just so everybody knows, we don't profit off of this. I don't profit off of it. We get nothing out of this. We do this for you guys. We do this because we enjoy it. We want to. Somebody DM'd me. I won't say who. You know, and oh, you just do. You know, you probably just do the podcast for money. No, I get absolutely nothing out of this.
Yeah, you don't
I
get
don't.
squat.
I mean, do you
I
have
don't.
like 5,000 viewers? Because if you did, maybe you'd get some
Yeah,
money. But
right.
like,
Yeah.
You know, obviously, if somebody look, all I do, I pay $20 a month for my Restream, which is the program we're using. You know, I'll give you, Doug. I'm going to use you as an example. You can actually show your text messages over the air. Kind of cool feature. You know, I pay $20 a month for Restream. So if somebody wants to donate 20
Oh
bucks
wow.
for 1 month, I'm okay with it. Whatever, but we don't ask for money. We don't do this for money. It's not why we're here. We're here for you guys. If you guys got something you want to tell, I will happily send you a link. You guys can join us here. Smartphone, tablet is all you need. Computer with a webcam, whatever. That's all you need. You know, I send you a link. You click on it on your smartphone. Michael and Nick, you can tell them how easy it is. Literally click it.
if
Boom,
you
you're in.
can't figure it
Yep.
out, then you probably don't even have a smartphone because
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
literally
That's
it's
true.
idiot proof.
it's literally that easy, you know. So you guys want to come in here, and I would love the guys prior to the 90s. I would love to hear your guys' stories. I know you guys have some. I remember standing at attention in a hallway and you guys telling us as you were walking through, you know, while we were getting yelled at in trouble for stealing. You know, I really want to hear what you guys have.
What did you guys steal?
I don't even know, dude. It was always dumb stuff like, oh, he took a pack of cookies or something. I don't even remember, but there were
Well,
times.
I remember there was a couple times, at least in my building, there was like, oh, somebody stole a necklace, but it was like some really like 2 millimeter 10 plated gold necklace that was probably worth like $20 from Walmart or something. Oh,
Exactly.
they made a big deal out of it.
It was always dumb stuff, and we
Yeah.
would stand there until 3 a.m. at attention because of that.
Yep.
That's the crazy part. But
Well, if you're going to steal, you make it worth your time. Like when you get in trouble,
you knew you
I'm
kind
stealing
of
3
already
packs of
knew.
cookies.
You kind of already knew when you came upstairs and they were flipping rooms and dumping, you know, your what do you call it?
The trunks.
Lockers, yeah, your
Yeah.
trunk. You knew what was going on, so you kind of had a heads up when you got back from class.
Never have an unlocked Foot Locker,
Right? Exactly.
especially if you're hiding a
Stop
jelly
stealing.
donut.
We didn't have that problem.
Yeah. No.
What is that? But like I said, we don't do this for money. We do this for you guys. We're here for you guys. So, but yeah, we'll shoot for Sunday, maybe Sunday night. You know, we'll see if you guys are around. I'll reach out to a couple of you guys in DMs and see if you're free. But I'd love to get a couple guys. I mean, I can get up to 10 guys on this with this program. We can do up to 10 people. So, you know, if a couple of you guys want to join us, I will be happy to have you in here. Let us know. But I appreciate Terry and Doug. Thank you. You know, I appreciate your comments as well. But, you know, obviously we can't keep the school alive, but we can keep the memories alive. So,
Exactly.
but I'm going to end the stream here in a second. But you guys all have a good night. Like I said, again, Sunday night, we'll shoot for another one. So, peace out.
Yeah, everybody.